Sarah Noquette here, back with another episode. So last week we spent some time talking about how to set your prices as an online business manager. And if you're a new OBM and you're really keen on getting started on the right foot, then you definitely want to check out that video. I'm going to link it below here. If you are a seasoned OBM and you are thinking about raising rates with clients, then this video is definitely for you. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my tips and tricks for how you can effectively raise your rates and do it in a way which protects your relationship, protects your dignity, and also that you can feel really confident about moving forward. So when it comes to raising your rates, quick public service announcement, don't do it over email. It's just not the right medium to have this kind of conversation. When you are having a conversation around raising your rates, you need to think about it as an extension of your sales conversation. So if you're having a sales conversation and suddenly, you send your pricing in an email, or you put it out there and you sort of walk away, essentially, you're putting the control in the other person's hands over that sales conversation. By being very deliberate about getting on a scheduled call to discuss what you're doing, why you're increasing your pricing, it's an opportunity for you to address any objections that naturally your client will have about what's going on, how things are changing, and what does that look like. I think the most important thing to do is to get on a call with your client and say, hey, here's what's happening and here's why. Which brings me to my next important point, is the here's why part. A lot of the times in our industry, you naturally look at what other people are charging and you think, I'm charging $65 as an OBM, that person's charging $85, I need to increase my rates. But the truth of the matter is, you need to make sure that you are backing up your increase with more responsibility. As your business evolves, especially as an OBM, naturally, you will become more interested in things like digital marketing or even coaching and stuff of that nature. So additional responsibilities might look like being responsible for what another team member is doing, or collaborating with a client on a project. Perhaps they're building out a course, or you're helping them create some of that material. That's what that looks like. It's not just, I've been working in your business for 6 months and it's time for a price increase. I mean, you can do that. People do that. I just don't think that it really is going to fly that well with your client. When you come in and you have a plan for why you're increasing your pricing, even if it's highlighting things that you're already doing in your client's business, I promise you, it's going to feel better. Your client's going to feel like they're getting more. And overall, you're going to both walk away from that conversation feeling really good. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things and some of the considerations that you need to think about when you are increasing your rates, so as to best avoid, lost revenue or bad feelings and all that good stuff. So the big one was not doing it in an email and doing it face to face. My next tip for you to increase your rates is do it with a few select clients at first. You don't need to raise your rates with every client. Perhaps it's not even appropriate to raise rates with all your clients. There might be a particular client that you're taking on more responsibility with. So I really want you to focus on the profitability rather than the amount of clients. So it's not about increasing your rates with all your clients. It's about becoming more profitable with just a few select clients at first and then really feeling it through. So don't go, guns a-blazing. Everybody's getting a price increase. Recognize where the price increase needs to happen, again, based on merit, based on responsibility, and increase the pricing with those choice clients. Could be one or two, right? Doesn't have to be a million. And even as an OBM, it's not like we're working with that many clients to begin with. So there might be like one specific client on your roster that you've done a lot of stuff with and you've done a lot of work with. You've increased your responsibility and now it's time to sort of say, hey, here, this is what I've been doing now. Here's how my role has evolved. And that's really going to show them that you care about their business. It's not just about, making your pocket full of cash, even though, we are trying to survive here, but it's really about doing things in the best interest of the business. So by you taking on more responsibility with that client, they're going to be able to do more. They're going to be able to go out and do more speaking gigs, more of whatever only they can do in their business, right? Like from the OBM perspective. Now, along with choosing to increase with just a few choice clients, the other really important thing that you can do, and an effective thing that I've done in the past that's really worked, is phasing in those increases. Like in my initial example of, going from $65 to $85 an hour, it's not sitting right with you for whatever reason. There is an opportunity to do a phased in approach. So you can say, for example, to your client, I've really enjoyed working with you. Since we've started in, 2010, I've done X, Y, and Z for you. I've taken on more responsibility. So I am increasing my pricing. My pricing is going to go from $65 an hour to $85 an hour. But because you are such a long-standing, amazing client, we've been working together for the last decade, I'm going to actually start by just incrementally raising your rate. We're going to go from $65 to $75 an hour for the next 2 months. And then after that, we're going to go to $85 an hour. How does that sound? That sounds a little bit better than just saying like, okay, from next month, we're going up to $85 an hour, right? Because you need to think that your client has certain budget considerations and things of that nature. So you really want to make sure that you do it in a way that takes into consideration that you have had this long-standing relationship with the client. By incrementally increasing your rates, you increase the odds of having that be a more comfortable option for you and your client. When it comes to raising your rates, it's just one of those out-of-body, uncomfortable experience that you have to just embrace. That's part of being a business owner and part of, having a viable, feasible, solid business. So, accept that that's just a part of this. Don't be afraid to have those conversations. Sometimes when I'm having those conversations, I too call on my alter ego and I bring her to the plate and say, okay, have this conversation with the client. It's almost like someone else having that conversation, but from your body, if that makes sense. So I know these things are never comfortable, but this is a part of growing and scaling, and having a more profitable, solid business is all about increasing your rates and doing it based on merit. The other thing that I wanted to give here, this is sort of something that has to do with increasing pricing, but also has to do with just being a good service-based support provider, being a good OBM, is keeping track of client wins. When it comes time to having these quote unquote difficult client conversations, you already have next to you a list prepared of successes that you've had. So perhaps, you had a really great launch and you were able to make it so that the client went to the spa on day 3 of launch, which actually does happen when you're working with an OBM. Or perhaps you were able to really onboard that client or onboard that new team member lickety split. Keep track of your client wins so that when it comes time to having these difficult conversations, you're not digging into the depths of your being and trying to find some positive things that happen. Because in those times where we're feeling uncomfortable or we're sort of pushing the boundary in our own personal growth journey as entrepreneurs, we're going to be like, well, yeah, I did really help that team member, but maybe it wasn't such a big deal. Or yeah, Susie did go to the spa while we were midway through lunch, but whatever, so you will downplay these things for yourself. So keep a running tally of the wins that you've had with clients. Go into that conversation around pricing, feeling confident and feeling open-minded regarding the amazing things and responsibilities that you have been taking on in your client's business. And I hope this was helpful, and happy price increases, and I'll see you in our next video.